Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Howling with the Wolves. I am Melvin. Some of you might know me as Genghis, and I'm here with Nicholas and Mohit. Um,
Hello.
Mohit, hello.
Okay, hi.
How about you two guys introduce yourselves a bit?
All right, so my name's Nicholas. I'm 20 years old, a student of the physics, born in Germany, grown up in France. Oh, we're gonna see where this is headed. You can find me online under my username Implayadic. Figure out how to spell it yourself. Oh yeah, that's about
We will
it.
put the
Anything else we
spelling
can
and the
later.
link in the description below.
Right, there's a description below.
Okay,
We're professionals, everybody.
And Mohit, what about you?
so I'm 18-year-old Nepali. I'm studying computer science at Jacobs University, Bremen. And most of the time I play this game called Team Fortress 2, which is dying. So you better,
Go
come play
play.
with me because my Steam ID will be down in the
Yeah.
description.
Nicholas, to the
I don't
goals of this
add me.
podcast, you can add saving Team Fortress 2 and StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
That's a
Officially.
given.
Okay. Anything more you want to add? Wait.
What?
Anything more? No. Okay, I'll take over.
No.
My name is Melvin. I am also I'm as well as Nicholas, 20 years old. I'm as well as in German. I also lived in France for a bunch of my life. That's where I actually met him, even if we're both German. I grew up very multiculturally in France and Germany, but with like a lot of English schools and foreign people. I got pretty lucky in that way. I also got to travel a bit. I'm now studying computer science at Jacobs University Bremen with Mohit, more or less. It's pretty fascinating. And otherwise, you might know me online as Genghis Wolves, on, well, mainly YouTube and Twitch, as well as Facebook and Twitter in way smaller degree, as a StarCraft 2 and mainly World of Tanks streamer, YouTuber, and ex-pro gamer. And I'm still a bit active over there. So, yeah, that's that. I think, next, we wanted to go on with Nicholas introducing the podcast, and after that we'll start the actual podcast.
I will gladly do that. So, this is Howling with the Wolves, aptly named after our main host, Melvin. And what you're going to get here when you tune in, and I hope you do for this episode and future ones, is just thoughts, really. Because there's a lot of interesting things going on in the world every single day, and,
Always,
well,
yeah.
we want to talk about that. And just exchange our ideas, exchange maybe your ideas as well, if you're listening right now, and see where this will lead us. Because we might look very professional right now. I can assure you we are, but also we have no idea what we're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, but also we will swear and be less professional as we go on. So
Exactly.
Fuck! You didn't have to say that.
And
okay,
the goal
good
for now
job.
is to make this like the main podcast of this channel, with possibly like just single podcasts or like not regular podcasts on the side, with other people or even the same people on different topics if it's very specific, or just like one or two of us. Um, and to make, we haven't like decided that we want to do this like every Saturday or something, but we want to try and make something kind of regular out of it, and keep it going. And the interests of the podcast are going to get shaped both by our audience and by us, aka us three. I think we should go to that real quick, like our interests, and obviously if we bring in some other people, what they bring in. For me, my interest would be technology, computer science, especially artificial intelligence in that area. Anything economics, politics, social interactions, especially in combination with digitalization, really fascinates me. And I'm into esports, especially StarCraft 2 and gaming in a bit more general. And I love learning. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, like I personally am have similar views. Like I'm a computer science student, so I like technology. I could talk about programming, but I don't know how our audience would take that. It
Yeah,
depends
I think
really
you shouldn't
how.
explain how to do
Yeah.
this fancy loop in C++, but I think you should explain how Gen CS changes your thinking.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is a Jacobs University Bremen podcast, right? No,
Well, no, I'm from Leibniz, Hanover.
I don't care.
Well,
You know,
fuck
you
you.
you're a Jacobs University student now. Mm. Why are you even
Honorary.
with me on this podcast? And anyway, so what are we going to talk about today?
No, first, what Nicholas' interests before we skip that?
Not my interests, apparently. Yeah. Well, I'm a physics student, so there's obviously science and technology. Anything that comes that way is always interesting. Then also, I'm very interested in martial arts, things that way.
Oh,
And if the time is ever there, I'll probably talk about weeby stuff. I'm a
oh
weeb.
my god. Oh my
I'm
god.
I,
You're
gonna
a
annoy
weeb?
the fuck out of you.
Okay, good job.
I would also add that Nicholas has some very, very interesting opinions on some topics which are pretty rare to see so well founded and stuff like that. But well,
Okay,
okay.
Thank
I
you.
was.
Okay,
Thank you.
first topic of the day, because we wanted to start with something light before we go into I will warn you once the Trump election or the American election, which is kind of the same
Because
thing,
everyone wants to hear
and
about that.
and even slightly related actually. So this is small story time from Melvin, yeah.
Yes.
Since I came here to Jacobs and started studying computer science, especially with time, I've spent a huge amount of my awake time, be it either in class or doing homework or learning or whatever, like in some way for uni. A huge amount of time. In addition to the huge amount of time I spend doing that, like also since I always have like work I haven't finished and stuff, there's always work on my mind and stuff like that. On top of that, I mean I've always been a very curious person. I love following a lot of stuff. Even more so since I'm here, because you meet new people, you meet new topics, you know even teachers introduce you to things and stuff like that. And I've had less time than ever and more in my mind. So I really started having this issue where it felt like my brain was kind of overloading because I had like so many topics, like you watch one video or something, like a 2 minute YouTube video, right? Which like introduces a topic.
Yeah.
And you want to watch like a 1 hour podcast or to read 2 articles or like a 10 minute video. You want to like go deeper into it and a bit of that all over the place, but you can't because you have to sleep a bit and you have to eat a bit and you have to work a shitload. So I
Well,
really,
that's
really, really
pretty
started
sweet.
like noticing like that my brain just kept wandering and stuff. And I was like, what can I do, Um, and I'm a guy I like scribbling a lot. Um,
Okay.
in general, on like
Yeah.
paper. I would have liked to have like a whiteboard or a blackboard, but obviously my options are kind of limited because I live in a university like student lodging, I guess you call it, right? Like we live on campus,
Yeah.
so I can't put nails
Yeah.
in the walls. I'm not gonna buy huge stuff and stuff. So I just like bought a pack of 500 pieces of printing paper and a fat pen, like a how do you call that? Filzstift in German.
A
Okay.
felt pen. A
And
sharpie. A
yeah,
sharpie is the right word.
Sharpie.
I
Okay.
mean, I
Sharpie.
mean, you could always use the boards outside on campus that
Yeah,
are
but
there
not
for
no no
public
no. Let me
use.
finish. Let me finish. Let me finish. And some glue, like scotch. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so what I've done, I've kind of divided because so you can kind of imagine my room. There's a bed in like one corner. And then I have like my PC and my like with a desk facing a wall. And so then I have a wall like if I sit facing my PC, a wall behind me. On my left is my bed, and on my right is a window.
Mhm.
So if I want to work, I don't work often in my room. Most of the time I go out, but if I do, it's obviously at my desk. So anything in front of me, like I just put notes. I'll put notes of some like CS stuff and stuff. Um, for now, I just put some math formulas because I didn't have much on my mind because I was doing mainly IM and like that doesn't want trodes. And then I just put all the political and stuff like that ideas which I have on the back of my mind and which are or
Hmm.
whatever, which I want to or paradoxes or whatever, like stuff I want to do more research into, like think more about or like that marked me I don't want to forget and stuff like that. And I don't want to like put a
Yeah.
bookmark. I just put that on like a paper every time, like just in whatever sign, scribbled it, put it on the wall behind me, like some way, like it makes sense to me. Yeah, it just looks a bit random, but they're like in kind of groups together and stuff. And it's been for like 3 days, yeah.
You're
It's
teaching us
really
how to make notes.
yeah. No, but I actually think people should do that because like I'm literally just putting them all over the wall. It's not. I'm not putting it in a notebook.
Yeah.
I'm not hiding it away. I'm just putting down like note points or little stuff. Even like just I know some song lyrics I like and put that over my bed because I was like, why not? I think it's something I'm gonna
Okay.
It's
I'm gonna
actually
I'm gonna try this out for a while, right? This is like an experiment I kind of came out with. It's not something I read. Do this. This isn't something that's like, oh my god, everyone should do this. It's something like I'm trying out right now, and then I wanted to talk about it because I'm like at the very beginning of trying it out. Um, and then I think we should maybe Maybe it's something interesting for
Well,
us guys to follow together, and then in 1 or 2 months we can see. Maybe you
that's
guys will be convinced to follow too.
certain. Well,
So
I
by
always scribble down stuff on just tiny little note cards, and I lose all those note cards, so
Exactly. That's
not
why.
the most terrible
Or
idea.
I put
I
notes on my
never
phone, but I never look at my notes on my phone. Ever. I put
I
notes there.
never scribble. I've never scribbled. Like I don't own a notebook. My parents tried to make me write diaries before.
No, yeah,
But
me too. It didn't work either. Yeah, I mean, like, I understand.
I,
It sounds a bit like a crazy guy, but maybe I don't know. Maybe yeah.
dude, you're so crazy. Absolute madman.
Absolute madman.
The
No,
madman. He
honestly,
actually went and did it.
we will see how this goes, and then that's that.
Yeah.
Um,
All right. Enough with the pleasantries.
let's head on
such
to
pleasantry. Oh.
Let's
Mohit.
talk about Trump.
Do us your best Indian TV announcer accent and introduce the topic.
What accent?
Indian TV announcer or a Nepali
Indian
TV
TV.
announcer.
Oh,
Something.
okay.
That's racist.
Oh my God, that's racist.
Why is that
You're
racist?
racist.
Why is that racist? That is not racist. I'm
And
asking
that's
you
a
to do
very
For
impersonation.
Melvin.
That's a very,
If I-
very smooth segue to our next segment where we talk about the US election. Yay!
Yay!
Yay.
Not.
Because
yay
we
is
talk about,
funny.
someone being racist or something, I don't know.
Okay. Now, guys, let's. I think we have to get some things clear here at the beginning. First of
Okay.
all, Trump is president-elect of the United States. I think all three of us have an
Yes.
opinion on that, and I think all three of us should make that clear right now, one after the other. So I'll start by giving mine.
Right.
I think that, well, I'm not happy Trump got elected, but that's the way it is. I hope he doesn't fuck America up. I think there's a chance he really does fuck it up. I think there's a chance that either
There
he's
is
not
a big.
let to fuck it up because there is still other people who have power. It's not no man
Yeah,
rules
but
alone. And I think it's also possible that actually he just like does some a bit capitalist and maybe like not stuff I would agree the most with, but actually decent stuff for the US. Who knows? I think what's really important is that we learn a lot about society. We actually learn about these elections because I think there are some numbers we really need to look up and understand, and some concepts which we're gonna talk about in a bit. And I think it's very important we really understand what happened here because this election does not mean that half of the Americans are fucking racist retards or something like that. Maybe 1% or maybe 2 or maybe 0.1 or maybe 5, I don't know. But not everyone who voted for Trump by far. And we have to also realize that 45% of people did not go to vote. Of people who were able to vote, and that there's reasons for that and we need to fix that.
That is a very important point.
Because do you agree? Wait, how should you do?
All right, so my opinion, it goes in a similar direction. I'm gonna probably stress this again during whatever we talk about,
Oh, me too, 10 times.
but yes, Trump will probably be president if he
what?
doesn't die
There
all
is
of a
still the
sudden.
electoral college in theory.
Exactly. And Trump as a person is absolutely horrible, especially for groups that are more marginalized. His vice president Pence is known to stand in for conversion therapy, such things, very homophobic, very
Yes.
dangerous
True.
for
Yes.
LGBT kind of groups. And well, Trump was openly racist during his campaign, and that's why I think he's a very dangerous person. But on the other hand, of course, he does rule alone. I don't think it's a good idea to be overly panicked by the things that are at stake.
I mean, like, just before that you talk, Wade, yeah? I think we need to remember
Yeah.
people that 8 years ago when Obama ran for presidency for the first time, he was against gay marriage.
Yeah, but
I know it's not at
Yeah,
all the
true.
same thing, but what I'm saying is that politicians change opinion. There are chances that what they, it happens so often that what they say, what 20,
Oh, God.
30% of what politicians say is a lie. Let's hope that in Trump's case, in the campaign, it's 5%. And then maybe we're actually pretty good, He just
Well,
creates
let's-
some jobs and doesn't do the rest.
let's get into the details
Wait,
later.
let's let Mohit give his opinion on the election first. Don't want to
Exactly,
skip that.
exactly.
Okay, so I think, yeah, well, Trump is generally, according to the media, yes, he is a bad person, and I think he's a bad person. But I don't know, he might be playing it up for votes. That's that's a sort of a small conspiracy theory that some people have, but I don't know. Mostly, it seems that he's bad news for the United States. But then there was his conceding speech, well, not conceding, his victory speech, which was surprisingly decent, I think, compared to all his previous speeches.
Completely
So
agreed
I
with
don't
you.
know.
I saw his victory speech. I found it really like, what the fuck? This makes actual sense, you know? And then there was
Exactly.
another speech of like his Secretary of Black Affairs?
It's
Exactly. Wait, did you see that?
what?
Apparently Trump, first of all, Trump in the campaign had a department for outreach to black people, which has an irony which I think should be noted here and not commented further. But apparently, like, the person who was in charge of that, which is a black young woman, which I don't know any further than that, gave a speech or an interview. You know, as long as that's true and that's actually her and all of that, but like, it seemed legit on YouTube. Um, and she was like, "Yeah, everyone who was against Trump, like all the comedians and all the news sites, you're gonna get punished, and everyone's gonna have to put Trump in the best light and shit like that."
I'm gonna have to
This wasn't at
get a
all what I
source on
wanted to
that.
start off with in this topic. Actually, do I go there? I go there. I think we're gonna cover this topic from all directions, and it's gonna become a huge mess. So let's just start by making it a huge mess. What do you
Yeah,
think
it
about
is
Trump
already
TV?
messy. Trump TV.
What?
Trump TV. Let me Google that for you.
I have never heard. What?
I have
It
heard
came up,
the
and like
the
he created
word.
that towards the end of the election, or like he was been working on it most of the election, and now it exists. Like there is a site called Trump TV, if I'm
Trump.org?
not wrong,
You
Trump.org or
mean
something. Yeah,
TrumpTube.tv?
Yeah.
yeah. Like there's also
Oh,
YouTube.
okay. Vote
Trump.
no to Trump.
I need to. I
He
need
wasn't even organized enough to purchase this domain at public auction, and he wants to run the USA?
Trump.
He's an entertainer. All right, carry on with whatever you were about to say.
Oh, Trump.
Because
Wait, I'm trying to find the site right now because where is Trump News?
well,
Alright,
I
there,
found
there it
Trump
is. Wait,
too.
I think I found a link. Yeah, there we
Perfect.
go. So there is a. This is pretty new, but it's not that super new. Like it's not since his presidency or something. There is a site which you can see right now on the stream, of the podcast. I know, okay, video, podcast, whatever. Make of it what you want. But if you go to Trump.news, literally,
Yeah.
it's Trump newspaper. Now
Yeah.
there are different kind of, or Trump News, not newspaper, news site, I guess. There are different kind of news organizations in the world. There are publicly funded, like the BBC, I think National Geographic, well, that's not really news, but whatever. In Germany we have ZDF and ARD, which are really proud of that. I think France has some of that too. And which are independent. That's publicly
Yes.
funded independent. Which is basically seen as a big a good thing to have in a democracy. I think we can agree. And there's private. But private independent journalism, like like New York Times or whatever, that's a company for profit, but normally either they're not serious, or they are, they try to uphold values of journalism. But
Yes.
and then in dictatorships, of course, you have public or in autocracies you start having public but government controlled news. But if a candidate or a president or like a political person has his own news site in a democratic country, I find that very, very. I mean, like we already have an issue in the USA with multiple realities in the population, which I will come back to and explain in this podcast. But something like this is like worsening it. Like, for me,
Well,
this should be illegal.
if this is what we're starting off with, we should probably explain the whole idea of
Filter
thought
bubbles
bubbles and
and
whatnot.
echo
Yeah, filter
chambers.
bubbles, yes.
Filter.
Filter bubbles.
Hell if I know the
Shush.
proper terms.
Like, I didn't know what filter bubbles were until Melvin told me, so yeah, we
Yeah.
should.
Guys, I didn't
Go
know
again.
until 1 month ago either. Yeah, it's not like it's something I've been knowing all the time. Okay, so there are
I
two.
haven't known since.
Yeah,
Okay.
exclamation. Okay, so then to explain, I'll try and do it, and you guys, from OS understanding, also help me because it's easy to get lost there a bit.
Yes.
Um, there are two terms which I also encourage you to search on Google or YouTube yourself. First is filter bubble, second is echo chamber. They are very closely related, and there's a lot of other stuff that comes into it. Let's start with a filter bubble. Online
What
media.
is it?
There are an online social media. At the beginning, search engines just searched for keywords, for example, or mainly for keywords, for pattern matching, maybe for wrong letter but similar words or something like that. And then over time came Facebook and YouTube, and Facebook was really, really pushing here. You needed algorithms, or we got algorithms that adapt. For example, obviously, this makes complete sense, yeah? I'm not blaming the industry at this point. Facebook, if you search for a friend, right? Like, you meet this guy at your school, and you want to add him to your friends. Obviously, when you type his name, you want Facebook to search through people who are friends of your friends, who are in the same city, in the same area, have selected the same school, maybe the same age. This is what the Facebook algorithm does when you type in, a name into Facebook, search for friends, and you already have a bunch of friends. It takes in all this data, like your IP location, everything, and so it shows you like who is most likely to be the person you want, and that's really great, yeah?
Yeah,
this is
makes
what we need.
sense. Yes, absolutely.
And that's just like
Yeah.
breakthrough technology for
Yes.
search engines,
It
basically.
changes world.
Yeah.
It's also really awesome on YouTube or on Spotify. At least it kind of sometimes can be annoying if you're searching for that one really hidden song that only has 100 views and the title is nearly the same as that thing with 200 million views, of which
I've-
there's 50 parodies and 20 remixes and official and unofficial and fan videos and comments and remakes and
Well,
that
YouTube,
actually-
YouTube search algorithms are a topic for themselves.
But in general, this has really been a great thing. And nowadays you start having those everywhere, really to a degree you don't want, and we also have an interconnectivity, like where you really have to be aware, guys, that YouTube is Google, yes, Facebook, if you do not log out, if you do not actively log out, I'm not talking about closing the tab. Anything you do in your browser is registered by Facebook. Facebook doesn't only know your friends and who you chat to on Facebook, and probably WhatsApp nowadays, and Instagram, and whatever else is Facebook by now. Facebook knows everything you do in the same browser. Now, unless you're 1 in 10,000, because it's really that amount of people who have a single browser for Facebook, or when they open Facebook, close all other tabs and then log back out, which I really doubt. Facebook knows
it's just
what kind of
convenient.
videos you watch when you wanna relieve yourself, what news site you use. This is massive. What news site? What political opinion are you? That's very closely related, yeah? What kind of people do you search? What kind of hobbies do you have? And this isn't just used for your friend list, this is used for your newsfeed on Facebook. On Facebook, your newsfeed, or what you see presented, you have literally nearly no power over it. You can tell Facebook, I would like to see more of this by adding people as friends and liking pages or following pages, whatever it is, following people, liking pages, right? But
Yeah.
that's just an opinion to the Facebook algorithm. In the end, it shows you whatever it wants. Some things which are sponsored, aka paid for to be shown to you, aka many of those things nowadays, yeah? Just whatever is viral at the moment, because Facebook wants people to stay, and if something is viral, they think people want to watch it. And then you obviously have stuff from sites you liked. And they promote it, because if they didn't promote it, aka pay Facebook for it, probably you don't see it, even if you like a site or a page. And, a bit of stuff from your friends and stuff like that. But you have no control over it, and you get bombarded with things that Facebook wants to see you what Facebook thinks you want to see.
Yes.
And
that is.
Facebook thinks you want to see what you normally see most of the time, or what you click on most of the time. Now the key here is most of the time. And first of all, it's most of the time, and second of all, it's click on. Even if, let's say I'm a Democrat, I'm in the US, my feed is full of political opinions, it's pre-election.
Yes.
It's full of Republican and Democrat things. I only click on the Democrat things most of the time, let's say 80%, 90% of links I click on and read through articles, videos, whatever, are Democrat, because that's my political opinion. What does Facebook do? It removes everything which is Republican. Maybe it even goes further to see them mainly are more on the left, and then I get more and more on the left of the left. And first of all, I don't even realize anymore, because all I get presented on Facebook are Democrat opinions, and Democrat, like positive Democrat centered, Trump is bad, Clinton is good opinions. I don't even realize there is actually another opinion, even if I wouldn't have clicked on it most likely anyway. Right? I wouldn't click, this is how Trump is gonna win the White House. That's very, very unlikely. But at least I would have kept it in my mind, it would have been present to me that he's actually running, there are actually people voting for him, you know what I mean? And second of all, yes, you keep seeing what you already see. And there's a bit of an effect of what your friends like and stuff, but it comes down to that. And then you have a second issue, which comes at the same time, which is echo chambers. Oh, actually, no. Let's stay at filter bubbles. Sorry, guys.
I
Getting
actually
a bit all
don't
over the
understand
place.
what. I
You don't
actually still
understand
don't
filter bubbles?
understand what. Yeah, I don't understand what echo
Okay.
chambers are. No,
Okay.
I understand filter bubbles.
Oh, you understand filter bubbles? Okay. Let's still keep at it. Now, filter bubbles, obviously, the most prominent and first example was Facebook. The second is Google. There's a
Which
video.
is
I'll try
huge.
to link it in the description or something. If you
Which is
buy a new
huge.
computer, install a fresh browser, and Google anything for the first time ever, there are 47, I think was the number, of things that Facebook takes into account which change what it shows you. On a fresh PC that has never been used before, on a fresh browser that has never been used before. These things are: what are your browser, what is your IP, what is your position, what is your model of computer, like how rich, what price tag, for example, I guess that implies, all that kind of stuff. And most likely it's not even associated, like high quality processor rich. It's just the algorithm at some point in its data collection has made that connection in some way. And once you start Googling and using YouTube and using whatever else, this quickly how many people use Google as their main source for nearly everything, which is news?
I do.
Many. Me, I do.
Certainly.
Whenever I search for something, it's Google. I get informed through other ways, aka spam I get from Facebook, which I actually don't want, like stuff that's just in my newsfeed, and some YouTube channels I follow, and some news like one news site I go directly to. But now this Google search is being tailored. And I will do some more research, and this topic's gonna come back a lot on this channel, I promise you, I'm sorry. But you get different search results depending on what you searched for in the past, what you are. And this makes it impossible to get the same base facts to create an opinion. So you can't even have an argument where people compare opinions, because people have different facts and are not ready to acknowledge them. Now, echo chambers are basically the tendency to reinforce this, or actually no, to reinforce your own beliefs by assuming other people have them because you grew up with that. It's a bit like, oh my god, so much stuff is the same here. Okay, forget what I just said. Echo chambers. Is first of all the idea. Where are we, Mohit? At an international university in northern Germany, with an average of, let's say, higher educated parents. We are going to be higher educated, at least those who don't fail, and we are on average not too poor.
Yeah.
Most of our political discussions, at least for me, happen in this kind of group. Not any Jakobs, maybe also other young people, which I know from past schools or whatever. Maybe a bit my parent or my dad, but my dad is still higher educated, not too badly off, German and stuff like that. Different social groups automatically have different, tendencies. This is just purely logical. Poor people are gonna vote for people who say they're gonna support the poor. Rich people are gonna vote for people,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
women like women rights, men like men's rights. So we are already in an area where a lot of us have very similar views. I think you notice this. I mean, like in the WhatsApp group, 95% of the people here are pro-Clinton in the election, if not more. I really believe so. We are discussing in this group. We are watching the same videos from Stephen Colbert and John Oliver and Seth Meyers, which are making fun of Trump. I'm not making. This is true. We are sharing the same videos on Facebook making fun of Trump, the same memes making fun of Trump. Sure, we make a
Well,
bit fun of Clinton and say we'd rather have Bernie, but we say, oh my god, how stupid, or many of us said that, or say that, or, of them. However you want to use the
I think
pronouns here. Um, and so it creates this belief in us that everyone thinks this way,
Yeah,
because it is the only way we are accustomed to finding. And so that's something you automatically have in social environment and in your family and stuff like that, right? Most likely. I mean,
I
you have
th-
families which are rare, which are an exception, where you have like open different political debates and stuff like that, but 99%. If this gets reinforced by filter bubbles online, so both offline and online, we get basically always the same opinions slash information, right? Like information that confirms our opinions, which we share with everyone else around us, and we assume everyone else shares.
I
We
think this
start
is
living in
also
different realities.
yeah. I think this is also reinforced by something that's not necessarily just like software sided, but also something very very human, just based on the fact that everyone is connected to everyone else. If you know what I mean,
There's
because
no.
so much more in play. I mean, it's
with
confirmation bias, yeah. I mean,
with
like
that
Yeah,
when
confirmation
when,
bias.
when
True.
people say, I don't know, what is this even? When people say, um, I don't want not Americans to come because they are all criminals, and then this is a YouTube video I watched from a daughter and a father, yeah. The daughter says it is proven as a fact that young immigrants tend to be less criminal, like have a lower criminality rate than not immigrants. And then the answer
okay.
of the father is even one is too many. Like after like a short hesitation,
Oh,
even one criminal is too many. Um, we can discuss about this opinion. Actually, I don't think we should. What I want to say is, this is an opinion. I think we disagree with, but it is an opinion, and this guy voted in the United States of America. What is driving him? When he says that, is that confirmation bias? Is that pride? Is that
Well, in that exact situation, I think the effect you're thinking of is hang on, what was it called?
I don't mean in this exact situation. I mean this kind of way of thinking. This you have
Cognitive
facts which contradict
cognitive
you. You accept that these facts contradict your way of thinking, and you don't change it. This isn't even fact denial.
the
It isn't saying I don't
the
believe the FBI
yeah,
numbers.
yeah,
Trump
no.
says something else.
I think yeah, there's a word for it.
The phenomenon is called cognitive dissonance. It's
Cognitive
Oh,
when yeah,
cognitive
it's when
dissonance is
it's like
something way too vague. It's an overcoat.
cognitive dissonance just means that you are faced in a certain situation. You're faced with a bit of information, a fact that contradicts your preconceptions, your beliefs,
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, then
and
that's it.
it's basically just a very uncomfortable feeling, obviously. And us humans are great at rationalizing stuff and just like ignoring things that we don't like.
Yeah.
So cognitive dissonance leads to just, well, being defensive, denying things.
I mean, as always with psychology and with everything, so many things are interlinked. Like placebo
Also,
effect, confirmation bias. Like there's so many names for similar things. I completely agree with you. Yes.
at this point, it should probably be noted that I'm a physics student. Those two guys do computer science. We're not psychologists.
Yes.
We don't know what the fuck we're
I
talking
tried
about.
psychology, but the teacher sucked, so I dropped out after 2 weeks. Yay! 1 week.
oh
So
no!
yeah,
What
you're
if he
not
watches this
a
podcast?
psychologist.
By the way,
What if he watches this podcast? You're
how are 20
screwed.
votes still open?
20 votes?
Yeah, I'm on Google Chrome. Like as far as I understand, is like the official Google election results. It says Clinton 228, Trump 290, and then there's 20 still open in the middle.
Um,
They're still counting, I
might
guess.
What?
might be either
It doesn't matter. Like it won't change the result because either way, Trump has more than half. But I just find it fascinating. No.
Yeah,
might be third party votes,
Yeah, something like that.
or what
I
is
don't
that?
get
Oh,
that. What? Okay.
oh, wait, no, actually no. Aren't they not just not? I don't know. Wait,
Is
how?
that popular
Okay,
vote or
how does the U.S. system work? Isn't it cut off at two parties, and that's why you only have two ever? Or is
No,
it
I don't
just
think so.
historical?
Like
The way
you
the
had.
system works or do you want to explain this, Mohit?
Oh, no, I don't know like either.
Guys,
So I wanted
Google,
to
Google.
ask.
Everyone
Okay.
Google at the same time.
I'm
Let's everyone Google at the same time.
well,
I mean,
from
like,
what
fuck it,
I've
Wikipedia. We're
gathered,
gonna be correct on this shit.
essentially you're voting for an electoral college.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
that's for
what is
sure.
that?
But oh yeah, true.
what?
Okay, yeah, you're voting in a winner takes all electoral college. So in the end, yeah.
Okay,
Oops.
so like a winner
Essentially,
takes all situation. Okay.
Okay, so in each state,
what
okay,
you do is
Nicholas. I
all
mean,
right.
I
So
think I can explain.
I'm
Okay,
gonna I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna talk just because you've talked so much already.
okay, yeah, go for it.
So basically, with the electoral college, what you got is every single state has a certain set number of representatives that get elected by the actual people. These usually belong to a party and usually pledge to vote for that party. But in all actuality, they have no. They're not forced to, not at all.
Okay,
I
so
think that part
And
we should ignore
this
for now.
electoral college
Yeah.
then comes together and actually votes for the president.
There's
And the
some
reason
very
this was
there's some very important bits you missed, I think.
probably yes,
No. Just to point this out,
the gist of
what
it.
the one of the biggest issues is that you have non-popular, like the two things that mark the electoral college in the U.S., yes, and which make it so bad, are that you don't have votes distributed per population. Like basically, what happens? Every state
Yes,
gets
yeah.
three
has a set
votes
number.
plus the population bit, which makes different people's votes have different values, literally.
Yeah.
As always, for go to CJP Gray's channel for this. He explains it 20 times better than I ever will.
No,
Um,
I actually understand this because this is sort of the way the Constituent Assembly in Nepal is elected. This we have sort of electoral areas, and like we just like the U.S., we each it's not based on total population, total votes, but
okay.
how many areas that person wins, a certain party wins. So I get what you mean, but
Yeah.
yeah, this might not be obvious to someone who doesn't know how the system works. Yes.
Yeah. Anyone who doesn't understand it by the end of our explanation, go to CJP Gray's channel and just search for Electoral College and stuff there. But
So
Nicholas
basically,
also.
Okay.
Yeah.
just turn off the podcast and go to CGP Grey.
Just do that. Just do that. You'll be so much further. Nicholas, I think you should
Appreciating
talk
humor.
about the winner takes all and the issue that creates.
Well, basically, the way the American system works, and for anyone who actually is in America, you'd assume you know that, but um, basically, it's either a state is red or a state is blue, or a state is third party, but that never happens. So like, you need half the votes probably, maybe it's a little less,
Yeah. Oh. Well, you need to
to
be
win a
you need to be
state.
the one with the most. Like whichever party has the most votes in a state.
Yes.
So that normally is anything between, let's say, 49%, because you have a couple votes for third party, and
Yeah.
maybe 70, 80% in like max situation. It doesn't matter. As soon as you have the most, maybe it's 50, but I'm pretty sure you just have to have the most. Then you get all
Yeah.
the votes from that state.
Exactly.
This Now, first of all, this creates a first issue, if I may talk, which is that you have two parties, which isn't good if you have a country as diverse as the USA. I think we can make 5 podcasts on that topic alone.
We really should. We're based in
And
Europe.
second of all, you have some states which, like, you have a country with two parties. You have a country which is very diverse, very geographically diverse, economically, socially, ethnically, in every way. And all you have is two parties which represent some kind of something. So you end up with some parts of the country being like, why the fuck would I not vote Democrat and have like 70% vote Democrat? And other parts which have completely other ideologies in other situations, be the contrary, and always vote Republican. This leads to the fact that actually in the election, only maybe 15 states out of the 52 matter. at all, because there's actually like any kind of probability the vote goes like one of two ways and not definitely one way. And then out of these, most of the time it comes down to, let's say, 6, 7 states which have like a big amount of votes, so they are important in that way, and it's very uncertain like which way they go. Very hard to
The
predict.
swing states.
The swing states, which become the swing states, or then the main swing states, and whatever.
What are the swing states?
It depends each election. California is always one and always super important because California alone is like, what? 15% of the total votes or something, right? I think this time though, Ohio was a swing state, West Virginia, North Virginia, something like that. It was all covered, look it up.
Florida?
But, or maybe one of you can look it up while I'm talking. But that means that in the end, the entire election boils down to those states. The entire campaigning happens there. So you have a very bad nationwide political participation. Because obviously, I mean, like, if Clinton is only campaigning in fucking... And, not Clinton, both of them are only campaigning in California and Ohio and whatever. And never... I'm literally serious that... There was a video from CJP Gray, or where he showed, like, how often the candidates went to each state. And 3/4 of the states did not get a single visit. And then the most visited state had, like, 200. This
Was
is
it California?
Yeah, probably was California. And this leads, don't take the 200 as a granted number, it was just way more than 0, okay?
Yeah.
Along with all the other, like, the thing with the US is that you have so many issues at the same time which come together, but this also leads to the extremely low, voter turnout. Because no one feels represented, or like so little people feel represented by either of the parties, so most people just vote against the party which represents them the least. So you have completely unmotivated people, so that in order to motivate anybody, the parties have to go towards more and more radical ideas to at least get their bases to kind of go vote. So people feel
Yeah,
even less represented. Plus you only have swing states, so like not only like in political ideology are very few people actually represented, but also in like geographical and economical questions, at least in the run for presidency. I mean, like, sure, if a Democrat actually has power, like the Democrat, states are gonna get probably better funding and better stuff like that than the Republican ones in the long run. But it's
Alright, so
not politically engaging,
So, just FYI, the swing states for this year's election were Nevada, Arizona, Florida, obviously, the big one, which Clinton lost. There's Georgia, New Hampshire, small one, Maine,
Oh yeah, New Hampshire was huge.
which has 2 voting districts, which is another weirdness of the U.S. Ohio, Michigan, and
Isn't Pennsylvania a huge one? I think.
Iowa.
But like I said, size
Pennsylvania?
doesn't really matter, yeah?
Pennsylvania.
Or isn't the only factor, like, for example...
No. What
Right.
matters is the amount of seats they get.
Yeah, wait,
obviously.
California is always Democrat, and Florida is swing state, is that it?
Florida's the swing state, yes.
Yes. And California, exactly, California is like huge, it's always Democrat, like 80%
Yeah, most of them,
people
yeah.
vote Democrats. It's been like Democrats since forever, because winner takes all, And this literally means, for example, that in the presidential election, Californians, the Republican Californians are never represented. Their vote doesn't really get sent through, it's just stupid. It literally, I mean, like, it is true to a certain point that if you are a Californian Republican, there is no point in you voting. You should still do it, in my opinion, as a civilian duty, and with time, stuff like that changes, obviously. Political opinions and stuff changes, but it is just stupid. One of the first pieces of, like, one of the piece of paper, which is the second most next to the light on my wall, says Electoral College sucks. Quote, CGP Grey. If it's not a quote, I just made it a quote. Believe everything in the internet.
We are not condoning not voting. We are not condoning not voting. This podcast does not condone.
This podcast does not
Since we're talking about people not voting, let's rant about France for a second. The French are pretty fucking dumb.
Okay, I know nothing about
No offense to anyone who's actually French out there, but in terms of politics,
Yeah,
and especially since votes, another presidential election is coming up in 2017. The French are pretty likely to do protest voting. When Nicolas Sarkozy was elected, which was a long time ago actually, he was the president
2005?
before the current president,
Yeah, Nicholas, I
Yeah,
know.
he was
I've
8 years,
heard of
9
him.
years, something like that.
something like that.
Oh no, actually, wait, no, Sarkozy. No,
Yeah,
Sarkozy was 5 years. 5 years.
5 years. Well, he
He-
wasn't elected 5
Come
years
on,
ago,
like,
but
aren't the French presidents all one better than the other at getting the worst how do you call that? Affection ratings ever?
yeah,
Really?
but
Yeah.
the issue I want to talk
Like,
about for the
go ahead.
French in particular, and why not going to the votes is a terrible idea, is that in the election which Sarkozy won, um, the Socialist Party, the French Socialist Party,
Because socialist is a very, very, very dangerous word to use like that on the internet. Can you explain what orientation they
yes,
have?
it's the equivalent of the Democratic Party. The
Obviously, we're in
left-wing,
Europe, so everything is a bit more left, but yeah, it's the equivalent of the Democratic Party.
yeah, basically in terms of those two
Exactly.
parties. France essentially has a two-party system, and it's also winner takes it all, if I'm not mistaken. Basically, you get one, at
France
least
has
on the
multiple
presidential level.
rounds,
Yes, that's true.
and it's not an electoral college. I mean, like at the end, presidency is always winner takes it all at some point, right?
Yes, obviously.
Um,
Hence why the German system is so great.
hence why the
Okay, so
German
I
system
know
is so great.
very, very little about world politics in
I
general.
think we should take a
So
break of politics, go to another topic, and come right back in like 5
At
to 10
least
minutes.
let me finish my point,
Okay, yeah,
dude.
okay, finish your point. Okay, but before we
Yes,
go
let
to
me finish
German
my point.
politics or something. Yes,
please,
go ahead.
please.
Sorry. I thought you were done.
France has a presidential election, and when Sarkozy was elected, the Socialist Party just collectively decided to fuck the hell off and to just like not vote or vote for whatever the fuck. So their candidate, I don't know if it was François Hollande. No, actually, it was a woman. It
Candidate
was
Souffle. Oh yes.
what was her name? It was his wife actually.
What?
The wife
What?
of
Hollande?
François Hollande,
No.
Ségolène Royal.
Ségolène-
Ségolène Royal.
She's a wife? Yeah, Ségolène Royal. She's the wife of Hollande?
I think so.
No.
No? Well,
I'm
maybe she is.
googling
I
that right
think of
now.
someone else maybe, but Ségolène Royal.
Oh no, wait, hang on, no. Either way, Ségolène Royal was the Democratic, the Socialist candidate,
Yeah.
and basically no one voted for her. So
She was
because
good and bad.
because the French system works in multiple stages, there's multiple rounds of voting. The final round,
sorry,
where
no
you basically have the choice between two candidates for presidency, came down to either Nicolas Sarkozy, who's the Republican. I think it's the Republican Party, right?
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's not like Trump Republican. This is
No,
where you have to
but
be
it's
very
called the
careful.
Republican
But
Party.
they are more on the capitalist side. They are more on the conservative side. But they aren't
They're
like
called-
racists
they're
or
called the-
anything like that.
They call the Republicans, aren't they? Parti
Yeah,
Républicain?
no, yeah, I just think it's very because different countries have very, very different definitions of different
Yes,
terms, and like
obviously.
in the U.S., socialist and communist for some people is literally the same thing. The Socialist Party in France has nothing
Yes.
to do at all with communism, and I think it's just very important. We make this clear 5 times rather than not often enough when we talk about this topic.
All right. So, either way, this final round in the French election of 2000, I don't even know, had Nicolas
Royal.
Sarkozy.
Yeah,
Ségolène Royal was out of the race,
Exactly.
so Nicolas Sarkozy in the final round was opposing Le Pen, and Le Pen is the
extreme
leader of the extreme right of the Front National, essentially the Nazi party of France.
Okay.
Not quite the Nazi party, but like the nationalist party.
Let's take back the word Nazi, but yeah, the extreme right Nazi.
Come on,
extreme right
Bourgeois.
Nazi. Extreme right party.
Okay,
Sorry.
so sort of the
It's
extremist.
national. It's essentially that. They're not good people, basically.
Exactly. I agree.
And so, because of this tendency to go protest voting in France, this happens somewhat often. And in the last communal elections in France, which happened last year, I think,
I
the Front
think
National was very strong as well.
I think you kind of skipped your explanation, Nicholas, but I think I know
Oh,
exactly what you mean, so I'm gonna go in there. Basically, you have a system in France where you have a first election where you vote for whatever party or candidate. Like each party has one candidate, so it's basically the same thing. I forgot for what you exactly vote. And then in the second round, or maybe there's even more round, but in the last round, only the two highest placed. I think there's one round where everyone votes. Then you take the two parties, people with the most votes, and you have everyone vote just between those two again. And so here the issue is that because socialists have a high tendency to to do protest voting, or people in general do, um, it happened nearly once, or actually no, it happened twice, right? Yeah, it happened twice. It happened twice
in
that
what
the
times?
Front National, so this very on the right, extreme right party, got to the last round, aka the round just before the presidency. And now, by itself, this is good or bad, it's up to you. But it is bad for
No,
those
it's not.
people which would normally vote for the Socialist Party, because in the final election, everyone panicked, and obviously all the socialists voted for, the Republicans rather than the actually extreme right. But they had no say in who was actually the president because many of them, or too many of them, well, protest voted and voted for the wrong party. The party they didn't actually want, but they just wanted to show off their. Now, always with this, it's not for me to say what people actually want. It's not for us, but yeah, represent your opinions.
Okay.
Does anyone have
I
a topic?
I know nothing about like world politics. When you say words like socialist and right wing, left wing, I understand
Ask,
nothing. Like,
ask, 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 ask. How the fuck
what
we?
is left wing? What is
Okay,
socialist? What?
left. Okay,
I know nothing
okay.
about
You know what
ideologies. I
communism
know
is?
nothing.
Okay, but ask.
What?
Perfect. Actually, I'm gonna shut up and I'll let Nicholas answer these questions because he can do that just as good as I am, and I talk way more than enough. Or Nicholas? Nicholas?
Did he go somewhere?
Nicholas?
Anyway,
Nicholas? We don't hear you. Okay, I think Nicholas just dropped. I'm keep
yeah.
talking for like a couple minutes to see if he manages to come back. Um, because I mean, like, I think he will survive me not explaining socialism. Um,
Okay, so you can explain what
okay, I'm gonna start at the
socialism.
very basics, okay? Normally, in
Yeah.
politics, it's very easy. You have a middle, the middle is what most people want. This kind of tends to be like what the lower middle class, or what, like, Actually, since a lot of lower class people don't know what to vote, how to vote for things which are good for them, ironically,
Yeah.
um, yeah, the middle is like the middle class, which is represented there, but it's like the majority of the population in general, And depending on
Yeah.
countries, the middle is more or less situated. But in European countries or in the Western world, middle more normally means you are a capitalist, you are slightly liberal, although some countries are actually very conservative. That actually depends a lot on the country. But you are rather capitalist, but you are not completely against social aid, or you have some of that. You have some government regulation, but not too many. No moderate taxation. Kind of like your standard Germany, France, kind of boring. Democrats would be like
Okay.
central in most of Europe. I guess in actual
Mm.
USA, center is like between Democrats and Republicans. Democrats are on the left, Republicans are on the right. So there isn't like a fixed definition. Nicholas, are you back? No, we don't hear you. Um, I still don't hear you, Nicholas. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I understand what democracy is. Okay, so but what is republicanism?
Oh,
What
oh,
does
oh,
what
wait.
are
No,
the
that's the parties.
ideologies?
Oh, you don't know? Okay, okay, okay. Wait, you know what a
Yeah,
party is, right?
of course I do. Yeah,
Okay. In the U.S. you have two parties, Democrats and Republicans, right? Like
yeah,
Clinton Democrat. Um,
I know
okay.
that much. I know.
Yeah, okay. So, well, so the left is represented by values such as they like higher taxes, higher, why? Because they want higher wealth redistribution, so from the rich to the poor. The right wants less of that, like less corporate taxes. Um, the well, actually, everyone likes infrastructure. No, the left tends to be more liberal, more open towards gayness, towards, equal rights for everybody. The conservative side tends to be more on the right. But there's kind of two different things, because there's like the economical spectrum, which is like very capitalistic or very, or like it can be like very capitalistic, okay, very little rules and just like let money do its thing. And
Yeah.
you go towards communism, which is total control. Socialism is like you let money do its thing, but you regulate a lot.
Yeah.
A bit like, I don't know. Yeah, like what Russia tried, something like that. The thing is that failed and became an autocracy, so that's why it's very hard to define. Um, and then you have like the political style, so that's like openness towards new things and gayness and equal rights and like no suppression and free speech and stuff like that. Um,
Okay. I guess I get a general idea.
just
You know,
tell
but
me So extreme right is racist, always. Okay?
okay. Okay.
Extreme right is racist. And when you get to like extreme right, normally capitalism has nothing to do with it anymore. Yeah, like it's not about economics anymore. It's about like I don't know, social
Okay. So
frustration on the
more
right side, on the racist side,
like,
like
yeah, extremist
and
views
extreme
basically.
left would be like
Yeah.
communist or anarchist, as far as I know. I'm not
Oh,
like
okay.
completely sure what the definitions are there. But I think both are extreme left if you want. Or anarchist. No, actually, no. Communist is extreme left and anarchist is like nothing. Probably. Maybe. Like something like that. I guess it's like. I think there's like some kind of mixture between anarchist and communist or something like that. Or anarchist and left. So they kind of get along. So it's kind of blended. I don't really know. But extreme left would be communism. aka everyone gets the same. Everyone earns the same. Everyone works the same.
Yeah.
Um. So that's that.
Yeah.
Um.
Nicholas still trying to get it on the chat, but
So
well.
Hitler was extreme right. USSR is
Of course,
extreme
yeah.
left. Trump is right, like strong right, from a European point of
Yeah.
view.
Yeah.
From a German point of view, Merkel is like moderate right.
Okay.
Like middle right,
So,
like the right side of the middle. Literally.
oh, she was right. Okay.
Like
Wow.
just, but
That's
like in Germany you really have,
yeah.
because in Germany you have see, this is where you have the big differences between different countries. In the US you have a party on the left and the right of the middle, Republicans and Democrats, right? In the Germany
Mm,
same. But
yeah.
in Germany you have like 6 parties which matter. So the middle is way smaller in political spectrum. It doesn't go into the racist party, which Republicans do, definitely, for example. And the moderate left, like this middle left, doesn't go into like the Bernie Sanders department. While Democrats do. Do you understand what I mean?
Okay.
You get
I
like other parties which are more towards the sides in a way. And there's also like liberal. If people are just talking about being liberal, I guess there's economic liberal. Oh, free
well,
liberal,
yeah.
something like that, or capitalistic liberalism. That's like,
Liberalism
like
is
they're like open towards
left.
gayness and I don't know, probably they like esports and social media and that kind of stuff. Like they profile it with digital stuff often, but
That's
they're
sort of
still very
left, right?
capitalistic and believe in companies basically.
Okay.
For example, like capitalist
Yeah.
traits would, for example, be we need to get the economy running by privatizing stuff, roads, ports, airports, school. I mean, schools is rare.
Mm.
Prisons, see the U.S., which is a very stupid idea. Don't do that. Hospitals, very stupid idea. Don't do that. Water, very stupid idea. Don't do that. Ports and airports can be pretty good. Um, but or museums, for example, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So that kind of stuff would be also in general like a yeah, right measure, because you're giving power to companies basically. You're saying like the free market economy would do it better than the government can, while socialists would be more towards doing stuff themselves, having huge government agencies. See Greece. If well, I guess you're not European, so you don't know. Yeah, what do we do with Nicolas? Like we can't keep this shit going.
Yeah.
We're gonna stop the podcast right here. We might take back from here with 3 people, or we were trying to find a solution. Okay, I'm gonna
Okay.
stop
Yeah.
the recording
Yeah.
right now. Okay. Sorry for that. We have Nicolas back again. Um,
Hi.
we are like five
Good
minutes later
job.
in real time compared to the 0 seconds in the video that you just did. We
Of course.
decided that we want to take a bit of a topic break, not make this too political. So I have a question for Nicholas, which I think is actually pretty
Yes.
fascinating. For those of you who don't know, which I guess is like everyone except me and Nicholas, and maybe his mum if he makes her watch it, is Nicholas is the son. I can talk about this, right? You're son of a
I,
priest,
mommy. Yes, you can talk about that.
and this means that you're, since you live in basically like something which belongs to the Protestant church,
Yes.
you have some kind of stupid internet which doesn't allow you to use proxies or something, right? Like some kind of
It's
like parent protection which doesn't enable proxies, something like that, or
basically
certain
something like that.
websites. So basically, you didn't have access to anything which was video games
Well, it
on
blocks
computer.
Steam.
It blocks
What?
It
exactly,
blocks Steam. I am a poor.
and also Battle.net, right?
Yes,
What?
Doesn't work either. It was very fun when I had pre-ordered StarCraft 2, only
How?
to find
Exactly.
out that it doesn't let me log in.
And I think we
Great.
also had that
How
with
did
some
you
other
live?
games. So here's my question: how do you think this has affected you? How do you live? Like Muhit said.
I
Exactly.
don't.
How do you live?
I have no life. That's my secret.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, it didn't block memes, did it? Oh,
No, it
No,
did
no, no.
not
But
block
seriously, yeah,
me.
Nicholas, I want you to go really into details of maybe, I mean, how much you want, yeah, but like how you spend your internet time, because like I know you still spend a shitload of internet time. It's not like you became a tree kid.
Oh, you better
Um,
believe it.
so exact. Oh, I would. But
Well,
yeah, like go into detail. Explain this to us.
pretty funny thing to think. But well, obviously, I don't play a lot of video games based on the computers. I'm very sad that I can't play Overwatch. That I can't play. What else can you play on the computer again? What other games are there?
I don't know.
StarCraft.
Like,
Minesweeper, right?
seven, there are 700,000 other games. I don't know.
There's also chess, I think, right? Chess.
Yeah, there's a chess. There's solitaire, classic. Yeah.
Oh, right, Solitaire. I've played that before.
R
Well,
slash PC Master Race wants to have a word with you. Yeah.
What about the tower
come at
defense
me.
game? I think it's called League of Legends. I heard a lot of people like that.
Oh, Tower
Oh, yeah,
Defense.
The tower defense, yeah.
that's a good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it was kind of basic, kind of a ripoff of like this other
Okay.
game called Dota.
Okay. Please. Anyway,
How to get at and hate.
Go on, Nicholas. Go to the topic a bit.
Well, really not that fascinating. It's just the internet has a lot more to do than just video games, you know? I've
well,
Nicholas.
played a
Okay,
lot of.
Nicholas. Here's my internet. Like these are the sites I visit, or the things I do on internet: YouTube, Facebook, WhatsApp Web, Spiegel Online, Google, Twitter, World of Tanks, StarCraft, Overwatch, um, a lot of YouTube like podcasts and stuff. Yeah, like not YouTube stupid videos, not a lot of that, and Twitch, and email. Um, and then obviously like Google Drive and stuff like that, and some Steam and some TeamSpeak and like that kind of stuff. But I don't Reddit. I use a bit of foruming here and there over time, but I don't
I
Tumblr.
read it a
I don't
lot.
do blogs much. I
Well,
think
let
there's
me
a
tell
lot of
you.
different things in the internet, so just saying there are different things isn't what you know
Well,
what I mean?
it would have been a good start to let me talk, for instance. Just saying. Well,
1-0.
for one, there's
Like 0-1.
Tumblr. If you ever have too much time at your hands and like kind of need a hell to go to, you can go to Tumblr. Especially if you're more social justice oriented, that's a wonderful place for you to go.
Beautiful, yeah.
Wonderful, really. It's microblogging. If you don't know it, you probably do because
I
even if you're
don't.
only on Facebook,
Okay.
Facebook does steal a lot of Tumblr posts. Facebook steals a lot of posts in general, so why not Tumblr as well?
That's another topic, by the way, which I just want to mention. Facebook stealing
Let's
video
note it.
views.
Yes. Let's not go into detail.
No,
That's
we don't.
big,
Just
big,
mention. I
big
just said.
topic. Tumblr is an interesting website, especially because it goes back to what we talked about earlier with the thought bubbles. You very much decide for yourself whom you're following and what kind of content you see on your dashboard. So basically, you get an infinite stream of stuff. Follow enough blogs, and you have stuff to do for days.
I wish StarCraft was like that. Star Pro has like 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day of awesome content, and then the rest.
Oh,
Then
did
again, I
you
wish I had 3 4 hours a day or free
guys?
time. So
Did you guys
Yes.
hear about the New Zealand earthquake? Like that just happened
Mm,
2 hours ago. What?
2 hours
true,
ago.
7.4, 7.8 with tsunami warnings. I heard about it. Yeah,
Oh, 7.8. Yeah, that's
that's
Oh shit.
actually
high.
interesting because that's the same magnitude as the Nepal earthquake I was in. So I know what it feels like.
Talk about it, please. Indulge us.
Well, it was, like a carnival ride, I'd say. No. Like, yeah, it was scary, yeah, because I was basically in my room. I was browsing Reddit, I think, and well, everything just started shaking. I Earthquakes are like you can't really describe what they are like. You just unless you know, like unless you actually feel it, you're actually in one. So it's very hard to describe. Have any of you ever been in an earthquake? Like either of you?
I've sat in an earthquake
Okay.
simulator.
No, I have
And
not.
I don't think that passes as one of yeah. So you probably won't have any idea what I'm talking about, but earthquakes are, yeah, they're scary naturally, but I mean,
What did you
when it
do?
comes down to
Like
it,
you're sitting in your bed. Like explain the situation. You're sitting in your bed or something, in
okay,
a
so
chair.
yeah,
Like
I'm
you're
in my
browsing
bed.
Reddit. So what happens?
Yeah,
Like
I'm
do
on
books
my
start
bed. I'm
falling
on Reddit,
off, or
and
what happens? Like what
the
happens? What do you
ground
do?
starts shaking. The bed starts shaking. So I immediately recognize that it's an earthquake because Nepal has a history with earthquakes. Like almost, I wouldn't say every year, but every 2 years there's a 6+ earthquake. I think. Yeah.
Um,
So like I know that usually it's a small one, so I immediately get up and go outside. That's the normal procedure in an earthquake, but this one was a big one, and as I was running down, I could feel it, and I personally didn't get injured or anything, but my mom, who was on the second floor with me, she fell down the stairs, but well, that's just because we were hurrying a bit. When it comes down to it, like we didn't face any property loss. We had nothing. Even our entire area was unaffected. But then all over Nepal, all over the town, my hometown, things were, lots of buildings were destroyed. I don't I don't really know what to talk about with earthquake. Like what don't you know? What
Yeah,
really do you
no,
want to
it's
know
more
about?
about the like, yeah, what do you do? Do you run down? Do you hide over under the table? That's the
Yeah,
kind of stuff I wanted to know.
usually, yeah,
Like
like
how does the ground start shaking? Do you notice my water glass starts moving or something? I don't know, that
yeah,
was kind of
yeah.
a question.
You like you
How
feel
did
it.
you notice in
You,
that specific earthquake? Yeah, you're like not how
you
can't.
feel it. It was huge. You just felt it. Like it. The entire bed was shaking, and yeah, like everything, things fall off naturally, and the thing with the earthquakes is not that they after like one big one go like a big shock occurs, then the next then what you have are is the fear of an aftershock, or even like sometimes uh, it might be a pre-shock to a even bigger earthquake. So you know the biggest earthquake that happened, like recorded earthquake that happened in history.
No, how much was it?
That's
It was 9.5 Chile, I
Holy
believe.
fuck!
Yeah. Yeah,
Holy
9.5
fuck!
Chile and 1960. I think. I'm just gonna
Where?
quickly Google that.
1960.
1960.
Where?
Yeah, Valdivia, Chile.
Okay.
Chile is
Oh
a
shit.
very,
Holy
yeah,
fuck!
Yes.
9 point because like how does the scale go? Is it times? It's times 10 every 0.1, right?
yeah.
That's
It's a
something you have to
logarithmic
explain to
No,
people,
scale,
no.
isn't
It's
it?
times 10 every one, I think.
or
It's
it's
a
times.
logarithmic scale, yes.
I'm not sure. Wait.
Because it's one of the two, but like definitely it scales, high. Like 7 isn't one more than 6. It's either 10 times more or 1,000 or whatever. Yeah, I think it's 10 times more than
Yeah,
6.
but
So
yeah,
yeah, like
and
9 is 100 times more than 9.5 is nearly 100 times more than 7.8. Just to explain that to people real quick.
yeah. So that why I talk about Chile is because I think there was a 8.1 earthquake before the
Fuck.
9.5. One day before. One day before. On yeah, here it says I think there are three. First conception was on 21st of May. Then there were two on the 22nd, and on 22nd of May, the Valdivia one, the big one, 9.5, and I think it lasted 10 minutes,
Holy fuck.
and like
Huh.
ours lasted 1 minute, I think, and it felt like so long because you're scared. You're looking at the buildings,
Yeah, you're like
fucking
fucking shaking
almost
and
about to go
everything.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Holy fuck.
and
10.
11 to 13 minutes. I can't imagine that. Like
Sounds
the
horrible.
have you look at the if you haven't already like looked at them, look at the pictures of the aftermath, which is really really scary. I don't know if we're doing a podcast link dump or something, but
Well,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, it's gonna
just
be on
Google
YouTube, so.
Google them.
People
Yeah,
just
yeah,
Google people.
I have Google
Yeah,
Chrome
yeah,
open as
yeah.
background the entire time. Even though it's mainly the
But
podcast, so I'm
yeah,
not like massively using it, but. What's it called? The earthquake?
the
19
Valdivia
or
earthquake,
1960?
19
1960.
just do 1963
Holy
earthquake.
fuck!
Yeah,
That's pretty
I guess
scary.
I should add a disclaimer. I mean, I guess like there's only like broken houses and.
it's earthquakes are
But like,
bad,
just
people.
look at
Earthquakes
this
are bad.
picture. It's literally just like I don't know, a village of wood on the floor. Like not of
I
ruins,
know.
of wood on the floor.
Yeah, like,
There's
but
no triangle, like
this was
nothing
a
that
huge
interlock.
one.
Holy fuck!
And also, one thing about Nepal is like, even though it's a very earthquake-prone country, there has been very, very little preparation for any sort of, no precaution was
Why?
taken, and
Poverty,
because
corruption.
yeah, poverty, yeah,
Yeah.
everything you basically said. We're a
Okay.
third world country, and we don't.
What?
And but now these
How third world
after
are you? Because I really have no idea about Nepal. Like, are you more like
That's
India or more like I don't know, Somalia?
we're different. I don't know, like we're different, but like culturally, maybe we share some, quite
I
some
mean like
roots.
financially, and also
Financially. Financially, we're much worse off than India. Because we're a landlocked country,
yeah.
so our only trade routes are basically India and
Who are your
China.
neighbors? Your Indian neighbor or your Chinese?
India on three sides, China on one side.
You don't even have like one. Oh fuck you. Okay.
Yeah, so and China is the part with the mountains.
Yeah.
So our geography is like
Yeah.
mountains and mountains on
Geography
top.
is like mountains.
Yeah, mountains in the north, basically. So
Yeah, and then
that's
everything else flat.
that's where we share our border with China. So trade routes are not really feasible, even though there are some very important trade centers there. Like I don't know, there's I would take names, but like no one would know them. So, but still, like most of our trade is going to be with India, and this is actually a sensitive topic that I really didn't want to talk about. But yeah, like
Should we maybe keep this
India.
topic for?
well,
Should we maybe keep this topic for another time then? Because I think this is something
exactly.
longer and something also political. So
Oh yeah, yeah, sure.
yeah,
We
I
can
think
Like
it's a
talk
good
about
idea.
that after
yeah,
a bit of
okay,
research.
Yeah.
sure.
Side note to
But
any
yeah,
listener.
well,
Yeah, note it down somewhere in the Judo talks. Yeah, like don't forget it.
okay,
Write
yeah,
it down every
in the
time.
Google Docs. Okay, so
And we'll come back to it.
yeah, we can talk about this later. But earthquakes are scary. Yeah, that's what I wanted to get into, I guess.
Okay.
Earthquakes are scary, scary things.
Dear listeners, if you have ever experienced an earthquake or have heard of people who have
Tell
experienced
us in the
this or that
comments below.
have seen an earthquake,
Oh my
leave
god.
us a comment in the
Ah,
And give
comment
us.
box
This
down
is
below.
gonna sound very sadistic, but and give us a thumbs up.
oh my god.
Thumbs up for earthquakes.
Yeah.
All due respect
Hashtag thumbs.
to what happened. Yeah. But yeah,
Hashtag
that's the
thumbs
sad
for
world of
quake.
clickbait titles. Yeah. I mean, like and algorithm. Yeah, that's also the world of algorithms. That's another topic. Yeah, YouTube algorithms and Facebook algorithms and view stealing and all of that. But that's also another video. I think small topic. I would go on to, or did we have something we didn't finish? Because we went from one
I
to
guess.
another.
No, I don't really think so.
Then when we're at it, because next weekend. So, okay, let's start at the beginning. StarCraft 2 is a video game where you um
Okay.
play one versus one. it's a very competitive game, so you have like very competitive mindset for most people. You play mostly multiplayer. It also has an awesome campaign, which is completely relaxed if you're into that, and you have some money. You can buy the game for that, especially like the first StarCraft 2 Winter Trilogy and Heart of the Swarm, which have just as awesome campaigns, or even maybe the better ones are like pretty cheap by now. But anyway, um, it's an awesome game. It's got an awesome esports scene. I'm really into it. It's not the biggest game anymore, but it's definitely still a relevant game. And next weekend there is Home Story Cup 14 in Krefeld. Home Story Cup is always in Krefeld. Home Story Cup is an event, a tournament. I think there's 32 invited players. Invited and qualified players. It goes over 4 days, so from Thursday to Sunday. And the special thing about Home Story Cup is that it's not played in like an arena or concert hall or a LAN event, location, whatever you normally have for DreamHacks and IEMs, or I don't even know what BlizzCon is played in, or in Korea you have those epic open air areas and stuff. Um, Home Story Cup is literally there's German streamer guy or a couple of guys now who stream StarCraft and some other games, and they started as StarCraft streamers and YouTubers, and they kind of became into more. They also do some video processing and editing and audio for other people and stuff like that. So they have like a flat, but pretty big flat, which is normally their studio, and everything is held there. It's pretty small. I think it's like a couple hundred people, 200 on it,
Okay.
instead of like the 4,000 or something. It's
Okay.
got a bar. It's got like even a small cinema. It's got like some laptops, a bunch of couches, a gaming area, like booth or more or less, a casting area. And it's like very open. It's not like there's like a casting room where like the casters are hidden. It's like open couch and like you're not like meant to join them, but like you stay a bit behind. You know what I mean? They're casting their games there while the players are sitting like in
Yeah.
another corner of the room, or maybe like with some with a wall between, but like just around or something. And like the players are actually casting like once they lose, and like everyone's drinking, and it's not like the hugest prize pool. Like it's more of like a StarCraft 2 for the pro players. A lot of them it's more like a family reunion by now than actually a tournament. Like obviously those who win like
Bas-
keep on like practicing hardcore, and those who lose just like start having fun basically because you
It's
stay.
basically just to get together.
Exactly.
Big,
But
big drinking party.
you can also go the viewer. Obviously, there's like awesome tickets where you like pay 250 euros for the 4 days, and you get to hang completely with the pros, or you do the thing I did where you pay 6 euros a day, or 15 euros for all 4 days, plus a bit of tax, but yeah, and you just get to go in. But yeah, that's pretty damn awesome. I'm really hyped. I'll be going Saturday to Sunday with one friend from here, or friend, even like some person I met. I will normally have a camera. I organize that, like a digital photo camera, not a video camera, but you guys can also do like some short video. I will try and get some content of some form. I don't know where I will show it. Um, Pictures, interview, or something. Or both. Maybe I'll just put pictures on my Instagram and then re-upload them on the blog. Yeah, who knows? But yeah, I really hope it's gonna be awesome. I'm definitely gonna talk about it afterward. I just kind of wanted to give you an idea. And if you really are interested, follow Home Story Cup on Twitter and follow me on Twitter because well, no, because I'll be posting about it there. Like the podcast is gonna come like 2 weeks after. So if you really want to
Follow me on
Shameless
Twitter
plug.
at.
I mean, like
Shameless
that's
plug.
kind of the point of this. Like, yeah, sure. Like,
Well, you
if
need
you
to
want to
say
know more
where to
about
follow
my
you.
my World of Tanks gaming, follow my Facebook. If you want to know more about my StarCraft 2 life, follow my Twitter.
You need to actually say what your Twitter is. That's how
Oh,
plugging
okay,
your
at
stuff
Genghis
works.
Wolves. But like Twitter is in the description below. Obviously, everything is description below. Always.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't work as a proper plug if you don't say it.
Okay. Sorry.
Like,
Sorry for bad
seriously.
product placement, people. I will try.
Seriously, do you not know how to YouTube?
Yeah, like you don't even have 5,800 subscribers.
Fucking get out of my face, scrub.
You people.
We
Do we
love
want to go
you.
back to the US elections or do we want to not? For this podcast. I mean, in general, this is not a topic we're just done with. It never will be, but
Yeah.
for this podcast. Yes or no?
Well, I think it's all right not talking too much about it, considering
agree.
we're 3 people currently based in Germany.
I agree.
Like,
No, yeah,
yes, the American election has an international impact, but also not that much.
I think what we should go into, and not in this podcast, in the next ones, is more the really the filter bubble side and the echo chamber side, and that more the global perspective, But yeah, I agreed. Okay.
Yes.
So aside from Tumblr and Reddit, is that all you do in internet, Nicholas?
Well, the
'Cause, like you don't
platform we're
Facebook much.
using. Oh no, fuck Facebook.
Smart, yeah,
Fuck
way
Facebook.
too much.
Okay.
I
I
have
mean,
it, and
Facebook.
I'm
Facebook is cancer.
usually logged in, but I really don't like the interface, the user interface, and the
Yeah,
whole
I
newsfeed
agree. Like
thing.
it's so ad spammed nowadays. I
It's
don't
full
know.
of
Because like
ads.
now that you really have
It's
like between ads and just sponsored bullshit you don't want and random bullshit I actually don't want, which Facebook thinks I want or Facebook wants me to click on because many people like viral videos, but like I don't only want viral videos. Like actually, the main reason I actually want to have Facebook is to kind of stay up to date with friends. You know, like get those profile picture updates and status updates. That's actually what I want from Facebook. You know what I mean? And maybe if I
yeah,
follow, and also if I like a page, I want to see all the posts from that page, and not only when he like promotes it or I get lucky.
exactly.
Instead of yeah, like all the random spam that's coming. That's why I'm going more towards like sadly YouTube isn't really a social media, right? You don't have like the connection part. You have comments,
Yeah,
but it's yeah, you know, and okay, you have private messaging, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's
But
not
or you could always
social
use
media.
Google
but
Plus in conjuncture.
Oh,
I find
Google Plus.
what I'm trying to say is I find YouTube a better additional news and like fun, random, nice thing distributor than Facebook. Be it funny videos, which you find on the trending page, you know what I mean? Being
Yeah,
stuff I know I like, which I find on the subscription page, where really, like, if I, you know, want to find everything from the channels I subscribe, which is new, I go to subscribe, and I see everything sorted by day, so I can, like, stay up to date and click on what I want to see. And, you know, you have home to, like, finding stuff similar to music you listen to, or refining old music, and you have the history and stuff like that. So if you're like, oh, what was that
sometimes
song again?
I sometimes forget there even is a trending page on
Plus,
YouTube.
you have stuff like CJP Gray's channel and podcast, which
Although
by itself is a time
there's
investment.
something I think you said YouTube is a good distributor of news. I think that's a bit dangerous
No,
because while there
yeah, yeah,
are
yeah.
news like YouTube channels, it's important to remember that everything on YouTube is created by private individuals. Most of the things,
Exactly.
I
anyways.
completely okay. No, it's no.
So
I completely agree. Okay, can I rechange what I said because it's not really what I mean.
please,
Instead of
But
news, I
then,
mean like general interest of the population. You know what I mean?
I
Like
mean,
new
media,
movies
media,
coming out, that kind of news.
media.
oh yeah, all
Yeah,
right,
media.
New songs
that's fair.
coming out. Yeah, media.
Content in general. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like, you know, the stupid stuff Trump says, which at some point I'm not going to read on my German newspaper site because I, you know, like, either they don't talk about it or I don't care about it on that site, but time to time it's fun and in a way I stay up to date with what kind of stupid shit he's saying. But yeah, like, new songs, new movies, I don't know, just actually being aware of how big, like, cosmetic channels are, for fuck's sake. And also finding new channel like CJP Gray's channel or Vlog Brothers, you know? Found that over trending, Vlog Brothers, and yeah. I followed by now. Subscribe, whatever. So that's kind of more what I mean. Yeah, no.
So the Brothers, if you don't know them, they're a kind of an underground channel, kind of
Yeah,
a secret ship.
they're
It's like
very underground. Yeah.
kind of a secret ship.
I don't know. To be honest, I'm
But
happy they are not an underground tip. You know what I mean? Same as CJP Grey. I'm happy those kind of people actually get the publicity they deserve and that this society needs. Like, I really think those kind of channels are what should be taught at school and to every person alive.
we need to look up the Vlog Brothers now because I heard
I don't really
of the
mean Vlog
channel, but
Brothers.
I'm
I mainly mean like stuff like CJ Grey. Vlog Brothers have some very very good opinions, but they're more like, I guess they. Do you know Crash Course?
nope.
Okay, that well, Crash Course is Crash Courses, and it's also like
It's
done
well,
by Vlog Brothers, funded and so on. Like they have a lot of side projects which are really great. You know, like the main channel is just like kind of talking about stuff. It's also a good channel. Vlog Brothers is much
there's
harder
some.
to like put into one basket than CJP Grey, which is just one informative channel of very very interesting things plus some podcasts.
Yeah. I mean, YouTube in the end is like, you could argue though that even news is basically an individual
Well, yeah.
making content. Yeah. I mean, like, even with Trump.news, it's most of it is probably governed by Trump, I would think.
Oh yeah, that's what I
And
mean. That's like the issue with
yeah.
Trump.news. I mean, it's gonna put Trump in a favorable perspective every time. Yeah. mean, yeah, you already have that. Like Fox News is like, there's no question. Fox News is more on the Republican side, and I don't know what's New York Times. It's probably Democratic equivalent or something, right?
Yeah.
Well, Fox News and the New York Times are different media, but in a way,
Right.
I guess.
In a way, I guess. Yeah, true. Well, I guess in that also New. Yeah, true.
You know, like you
Yeah.
could
You
argue.
but yeah, in a way. The thing is, at least they're not directly affiliated to like a candidate, like an actual politician. They're not even actually affiliated to a party, you know what I mean? They just happen to most of the time share the same views, kappa. But
Mm.
it's not. Oh, I mean, like it's not the same thing as if like the boss of the party calls them and says, "Let's publish this," And for Trump News, for all I know, it's owned by Trump. I mean, like that's a logical assumption to make. Yeah. Well,
No, what I'm
obviously
saying
he
is,
chooses what's published, yeah.
well,
And
yeah,
from his
what
perspective, it makes sense. I mean, like it's oh, not very constitutional in my opinion, or at least I hope it's not. But
Constitution.
yeah, constitutions. That funny thing that people make fun of, like NSA.
the thing that Trump doesn't give a fuck about,
Come on, but
according to
no,
his.
no, but you can't blame. That's the entire American government. You can't blame Trump on that.
Well,
American government and constitution. It's like when it fits
what I
them,
was
it's really nice.
what I was referring to was that a couple, and by that I mean quite a bunch of Trump's promises and
Yeah.
plans he proposed essentially were unconstitutional.
Well, I guess it's always a question of the implementation.
His foreign policy, for
Which one?
instance,
How can that be unconstitutional?
didn't he have policies involving basically breaking human rights, like
Well, I mean, he wants to deport all the
deportations
illegal
and
immigrants, but I mean, like in a way that
well,
is
I
legal.
don't
Like illegal immigrants can be deported under certain conditions, right?
know
Yeah.
that's not the unconstitutional part. But I
Yeah,
know
no,
there
I mean
were
like water.
points
Yeah,
when
okay, actually, yeah, no, but like I guess waterboarding is unconstitutional by now. Or for example, yeah, what Mike Pence said.
all
What's that
right, there
conversion,
was the
right?
whole
Homophobic conversion.
conversion, yeah,
Yeah.
conversion therapy.
No, I mean like
That's more
obviously.
Pence.
Yeah,
That's
it's
more
more
Pence than
Pence.
Trump himself. Um,
I think a little bit more. I don't think you have to search very far to find like unconstitutional promises with Trump. I mean, he said so much different stuff over time. But I mean, like,
oh, well, I butchered that last part. Forget that. There's
I mean,
a
Edward
point to be
Snowden.
made,
Right.
but I need to
Uh,
look it up again. This is
okay.
getting messy. Let's take a step back. We're getting into very, very
Exactly.
Yeah.
messy territory.
I got lost in the.
Yeah, I think
I
we all got lost ourselves. Yeah.
yeah. So,
We've been going
how
Okay,
for
did
a
we
while,
get
haven't we?
guys,
to
let's
Edward
just.
Snowden?
I'll just no, let's skip Snowden. Let's keep it with like interesting, fun topics. What do you guys think about space travel? What do you guys think will humanity exist in 100 years? Let's keep it with fun topics, Kappa.
Fun topics. Will we all die within the next 100
No,
years?
okay. Do you guys think we will reach Mars in the next 100 years?
Mm,
Like a
well,
human?
That's
there
difficult to
are
say.
already plans to go there
By
by
2030 or 40.
2030 exactly. Vsauce just uploaded a video.
I mean, it was 2020 10 years ago, and 2010 20 years ago. I think.
Yeah,
I think when I was a kid, I had a book called 2020 Mars.
but well,
But we are making progress. There is no question about
yeah,
that. Yeah, I
yeah,
just
yeah.
20 like we're not 2011 anymore. We are kind of 2017. So 2030, 2030s, okay, maybe 2030 seems a bit very close.
Well, I definitely think that stuff's gonna get there by within the next 100 years,
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too.
unless we suddenly collectively decide that well, fuck going to Mars because
If we collectively decide that actually we did this with this nice thing, which was create a weapon of planet destruction,
we already did
and
that.
then yeah, no, and then create 5,000 or 10,000. But we forgot about that. We did that, but we forgot about that, didn't we? A bit.
Hmm?
I think we forgot about that quite a bit. It's not something that's very aware in our minds.
We forgot about a lot of things. We're
I mean,
sorry.
India has nuclear weapons, doesn't it?
Who does?
India? Nothing against India. I mean, like India is still one of the softer countries, but India, China.
Oh,
Yeah, okay.
Uh,
Sorry, Mohit. But yeah, I mean, like just think. I mean, like, okay, just think about this: the cleaning lady and the Indian palace can just, by any chance, like the guards are all sick. She walks in, presses a button, and we all die because someone notices. Oh, India's shooting nuclear rockets. Let's shoot them back, and then bam.
I'm pretty sure
And we
that's not
wouldn't
how it
even know
works,
it before we
but
would die, most likely. Like, if we're really
I'm
lucky,
pretty.
we might get news of like nuclear bomb just landed in Pakistan before, and then landed in India, and then like we have Russia, and then it's like, I'm probably fucked. Berlin's gonna come soon, no brain. But maybe not even, like probably just everyone send everything at once because you want to send it before like the others land. So in like 15 minutes, we're all gone.
That reminds me of the story where the one Russian guy didn't follow an order, and that's the only reason we're still alive today.
Yes, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, this is something like, and that happened like more or less. Like
Huh?
you can always discuss, like how close was it really? Um, would someone still have stopped him? Would we actually have shot back? But in the end,
Well,
like
we wouldn't
we
have shot
basically,
that. Germany
yeah,
has no nuclear weapons.
we were so close, and we are so close, yeah. Again, I think even like during like when the Berlin Wall fell, um, soldiers in East Berlin got the orders to military arm themselves and prepare to attack. And it doesn't really matter like if they attack their own like population on the border or West Berlin directly. At some point, like West Berlin, like hey, East Berlin is running around with soldiers shooting, and maybe do something. You know what I mean? That 5 minutes later, you also have nuclear bombs flying with it. And in the
Well,
end, it's
I
just
need a
that
certain
those
answer.
units rioted and also left. Yeah, like decided not to shoot on their own people. It's and yeah, for what I care, some fucking day, Trump has a bad dream. You know what I mean? Or a North Korean dictator does the wrong drugs. For all I know, like Sarkozy, like Hollande is doing drugs with his fucking prostitute girlfriend, and is like, hey,
what are
you
you
see what I
talking
can
about?
do?
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
know. I lost
I'm
myself. But what I'm trying to say is, I think
yes,
the,
I
you
find
lost
the
everyone.
joint.
You
what I'm
lost all
trying
our
to
viewers.
say is like we are so close to nuclear annihilation. We are so unaware of it. It's so insane. Like that a race, like a species, could do something like that. Like how did we not realize it's stupid to build these things
Oh,
and then to build more after we use the
well,
first?
once you've built one, you kind
Yeah,
of do need to build more, just so the other guys don't
build more. Isn't
have
it enough to
them
have
when
like
you
one?
don't.
Yeah. What if it doesn't work? I know what you mean.
It's like, well, that's the whole reason. Well, no, no, not going there. Not going into Cold
No,
War territory.
not going.
Bad idea.
Okay, who do
Too
you?
late
Okay,
for that.
then next question. Who do you think will get to Mars? China, USA, Europe? Is it gonna be everyone together? Or is it gonna be like a mixture?
USA, USA.
Fuck
No,
off.
I.
I think the
You know
most
what?
likely.
You
Yeah,
know what? We are going to Mars as humans, as humanity, not as a country.
that's very inspirational. Thank you.
Honestly, I hope
But
so. I
yeah,
really know. I really
honestly,
hope so that when we actually send people to
yeah.
Mars, whoever pays for it, like we agree that those people are like, cause that's actually a question. Yeah, like what do we do when we send people to Mars? Whom does it belong? And one of the options, which I find is the best one, is basically removing their countryness, like of the people
Their
who leave to
nationality.
Mars when they leave Earth orbit, so that they don't follow any laws and they can decide their own laws and leadership rules and whatever, and start from scratch and
That's
not
more
be
of an
bound to
issue
Earth in
for.
any ways.
That's more an issue for colonization, though. But
Yes, but if you start by having a small base and say this is a USA base or a China base or
Yes, of
then
Mm.
you
course.
already start. I mean, what happens next? China says, okay, we have a USA base, here's a China base, here's a EU base, and then 20 years later you have countries again, or territories, or you know what I mean, colonies, but like not as humans, but as countries, and I don't think that's good. I don't
Well,
think
I
countries
think
are a good thing. I think humans are way better without countries.
well, countries had a place in the world at some point, but I think
Really? In what sense? What do you think they did good? True. No, okay, true.
well,
True.
uh, in their position to protect their people and to create a system in which an economy could blossom and
Yes,
things like
exactly.
that.
To
That's
create,
the reason why countries existed.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
But
to create like society otherwise.
at this point in time, with globalization happening,
Mm-hmm.
like there's for one, at least in our part of the world, I'm gonna say, major wars, national wars of
Wars have
one
disappeared.
country goes to war with another country. That doesn't really happen
Wars have
anymore.
disappeared, yes, in the Western world.
So
Even
basically,
worldwide. I
this,
think even worldwide wars have basically disappeared.
yeah, I mean,
Actual wars since the 2000s?
there's
How
still
many have there
national
been?
level conflicts, but
What do you mean
like
with national? Between countries or inside a country?
between countries, that's still a
Oh,
thing that exists, but like
but is there country
much less.
war? Isn't it
That's
more about
doesn't
terrorism
matter.
now?
Doesn't
And
matter.
okay,
That really doesn't matter for the point I'm trying to make.
okay.
What I'm trying to say is just that basically this the function of protection from outside threats is not as important anymore, not on the same level as it was a couple hundred years ago, and other roles are not as important, lose importance as well, just because there's a globalized economy happening as well.
And also, I think what's very important to add is there are benefits from getting rid of countries, which are very huge, which are way bigger now than like the size of economies changed, and a huge hindrance to economy is taxation. When you used to have, like the grain and the guy and the baker, and then you had the bread, and it's all like within the less than the country, like within town. You know what I mean? That's not an issue because taxation would only be on like actual huge, um, I guess. Well, like only on rare items and stuff like that, which you would really
Yeah,
exchange over long distances because they have that value. But nowadays with globalization, since we produce all over the place, the more we tax stuff, it's just lost value or added price at the end. It's
that's
not good
true.
for an economy. It hinders us from progress, from economies of scale and stuff like that. If we would get
Yeah,
rid of that, and as well as political hindrances, yeah, which stop us from working together, which stop us from unifying our resources, or even like from like one country has one resource, the other the water, but you need both, right? And they don't like each other. So yeah, I completely
yeah,
agree. Plus language unification, and like stupid things, yeah. Like I mean, like first of all, language unification would be pretty cool. But for stuff like
yes,
computer science unification with like Chinese could all and Indian might actually matter at some point. For now, everything is English as far as I know, or like a lot. You know what I mean? But I think that's gonna change at some point. And it would be good if everything stays English and everything has the same basis, and you don't have all those issues. And like, let's be honest, getting rid of German umlaute and French accents would be great. Yeah, just as a tiny example. Okay, I think I just lost everyone. Um, hello? I hear nobody. I'm going to refresh. Okay, sorry. Sound like I have a short
we were
downtime.
saying right now, it would be great to have unified
Do you guys
language,
hear me?
yes, but also at the same time,
You guys hear me?
yes.
Okay, good.
Also at the same time, there's the issue of
Can you hear me?
Yes.
there's also the issue of uh, well, language is a part of culture, and I think culture is something very valuable.
So
True. But I think it's time to get rid of national culture. I don't I mean like I understand why people place a lot of value in it,
Yes.
but I don't think it has any value. I place value in it myself, but I don't think it is beneficial to a society. We need
Well,
human-wide culture. You know what I mean?
I don't think that
Okay.
works because humans are different based on their.
Well,
You talked about this at the very beginning of our
This
podcast here.
feels.
what? Wait.
It's a
I
very
don't
fundamental
know.
debate.
Yes.
What you said was people based on their
I'm
backgrounds will
lost.
have
Like,
different
I'm seriously
worldviews.
lost.
Yeah. Different people are different.
Different people are different, and this goes to the cultural level as well.
Look, Mohit, think about it like CS. There's axioms. Okay? Axiom
Yeah,
P1
yeah,
is different people are different. Axiom P2
yeah.
is different people do different things.
Yes, but then after that,
There
it's
is
all connected.
the successor of a person is similar to the person it is a successor to, but not the
Oh
same.
my God, so deep,
So that's why you have
so deep.
groups.
The
Yeah, well,
thesis we're arguing right now
I mean,
is
Nicholas, to come back to what we're talking about, like culturally, yeah, you're gonna like there is geographic culture, right? Like geographical attachment.
yes,
This is citywide. This is countrywide. This, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
um, the country step at the moment has a huge importance. I mean, like we have nationalism. There is no word for like townism, right? You're slightly attached to
yeah,
your street name or your town name or your city name, but you don't have this like
that's true. I
patriotism, nationalism. I think are bad. You know what I mean? Or we should feel
yes,
that as an entire human race.
okay.
Obviously, there will still be culture like Germans are gonna like, I don't know, or Italians like music with a lot of drums and what do I know.
that sounds like that's
Obviously,
an
for now
example.
we have language, but we could have still have different cultures while all speaking the same language. Be it by using different words, even though we all understand the same words. You know what I mean?
Um,
No,
well,
not
Oh,
I
really.
know what you mean, but I
you have
don't think you're right.
no, probably not.
Um,
But okay, like just ignore that part. But I mean, like I still think it's completely possible a different culture with the same language. I mean, we have that in inside of Germany.
there's there's the lingua franca. Like I have absolutely no problem with having a general language that everyone speaks and everyone uses to intercommunicate, but I think it's important to preserve and to continue to preserve local languages as well because they hold um, a lot of information about how a culture works and things like that.
Okay.
For instance, I've talked to someone who came from what was it, Kuwait, which is very close to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
The language he speaks, the language spoken there is Arabic.
Mhm.
And so what he tells me is that when he speaks
English.
Arabic, he expresses himself in a much more aggressive way than when he does talk English. So that shows you that like certain behaviors get amplified or get changed by what language you speak,
Oh, okay, you convince
which
me.
is
I agree. We
Yeah,
should keep local languages, but we would still be better off if we had one language, and it doesn't have to be English for all I care. Yeah, I mean, we can create something new, but like English is actually a good language. Like it's easy. You know what I mean? It's
it's easy once you know it.
no. If you compare a grammar book of English, it's like 100 pages. Of German or French, it's like 300 or 400. Of Chinese, it's like even more. English, like a lot of things which make languages more complicated for no big advantage, like declination and stuff like that. Shitload of tenses. English just doesn't have. English is a pretty easily built language. Do you know what I mean,
yeah. I
Nicholas?
guess I
Well, it's
don't really.
I'll try and find a research article on this, but
you can talk about why English is a good language or not next time.
That's
But
okay,
why
okay.
tune in to our next podcast.
for all it's
No, but
worth,
seriously, that's a
English
topic, guys.
is yeah, it is. For all it's worth, English is our lingua franca. So like it is the
Yeah,
language of science currently.
Yeah.
It is
it
the
is why.
language used by most of the world to communicate.
Wait, where do we put other ideas? I want
Just making you talk.
English a good language? Question mark. Um, do you think we will reach? Okay, guys. Do you think we will reach ever unification as a civilization under one banner, like one country, one government?
Very difficult to do that. because of exactly the difference in individual people and in culture and in way of thinking that is brought along by culture.
Do you? Okay. Do we agree that the number of countries is going to massively reduce?
Yes, probably. I think also, well, the issue with creating a big, like a super state, a super country,
I guess.
like some people would want the European Union to be,
I don't think it will be. I would like it to be like that.
same, is
Why?
that is that you for a country to function as a country, you need to have some sort of unified identity. Like you need to be able to identify as European. In the United States of America, that works.
Yeah.
Like the nationalism in the United States is very strong. You have a lot
Yeah.
of people yelling "America" at the top
True.
of their
Everyone is
lungs.
American. Yeah, that's very true. That's a very good point. Like, not going deeper into it, yeah, but very good point. Even though America has very different opinions, everyone thinks their opinion is America, or
Exactly,
America is
and
proud of it.
I mean, if you look at America, it's a huge ass country,
Mm.
and each single state has a very, very distinct personality. If you look
Yes.
into it a
Yeah. I
bit
really agree.
more, and that's
Yeah.
kind of the issue why the European Union is not a nation,
I guess
but
what we will get
just
is like
a union.
conglomerates. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Like
yeah,
kind of like the United States of America already like have very strong states,
Hmm.
but like something between USA and European Union. Like more power to the government than in the European Union, but less in like the president of USA.
I think I
With
get
like
what you
one in
mean.
Europe, one in like Middle Asia,
mm,
Latin America, or one or two.
yeah.
Canada joining the US or something.
The United Canadian and American States. That's taken straight from Shadowrun, by the way, a tabletop role-playing game. Fun facts on the side.
There you go.
But
Why we would want that, Mohit, to answer your question? Or would you want me to answer?
Answer what
Nicholas,
question?
you. Oh, why we would want the European Union to be a super state?
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Mm, there are many research projects where each country does manage to get the money, but together we could, but we never agree on who, like where do we put the thing, who pays how much. Same with military technology. A huge amount of money and resources is wasted, which could be way better used, but many care about like science. Mm,
I think that in the context of a globalized economy, like
exactly.
everything gets
Bigger.
networked more and more, the power of an individual country is inevitably going to be smaller and smaller and smaller. And like even though
You
Germany,
have more
for instance,
exactly. You have more negotiating power, way more.
yeah, exactly. Like Germany is a powerful country, powerful economy for itself, but still it fades in comparison to other much much larger countries like the United States or China. No, it doesn't fade in comparison to China, but China is much much bigger.
Yeah, especially
So
as Germany also has a very reserved like external political, how do you call that,
uh,
policies, right? We don't go to war much.
foreign
We
policy,
Yeah, foreign policies.
that's the
So that
word.
also removes us power, like it also removes us responsibility. But
So I think that like standing united as Europe, as a bunch of countries together, you can use your resources and use your influence much more impactfully, which is why I think the European Union is better off being together.
plus in economies, everyone would have the same union. It is better to have the same union. Money, you know what I mean? You would have the same standards and the
Currency.
same norms to an even bigger degree, which would make everything better, more efficient. You know what I mean? If, for example, a stupid example, but every country has different rails, so you can't use the same fucking trains. This drives up the prices for train development hugely because you have to redesign everything completely from scratch. Because like a fast train, you can't just like change the size a bit. Doesn't work like that.
Yeah,
And
that's
trains can't like really move from one country to another except on like very special rails or very special routes, or you actually have special trains then to be able to drive in two countries, which goes like even more. Um, it's like small things, but those kind of stuff just add up, and yeah, having same taxes everywhere, you know what I mean? It makes competition better. Better competition. Like I'm a capitalist in that sense. I think better competition, like economies of scale, just work. It's just a fact.
yeah,
And we have reached a point in country development where economies of scale work at things bigger than Germany, side
yeah.
of the EU or USA or China.
So there's an answer. Does that answer your question, Mohit?
Plus,
I
one more
think
thing,
it does. Yeah.
still doesn't mean we would, like politicians or society would be willing to, but if we would want to, we would be able to actually do things like green energy. Like, without having green energy in Germany, but buying, like having to buy atomic energy from France if you want to buy any. You know what I mean? Um, as a stupid example, or still having nuclear waste. Like, we want to get rid of the danger of nuclear reactors, but we still have one like next to a border, 5 kilometers away. Blast is bigger than that. You know what I mean? Those kind of topics, or like electrical cars. If you have like the power of an entire union, you can do way more.
Yeah.
Another thing that's very nice about actually having very closely united countries is that if you're essentially in the same country or in a very closely knit union, you're not going to get any ideas about starting a war against your neighbors, which is an advantage.
Hmm.
Because historically speaking, Europe has been a very, very tumultuous place when it comes to wars.
And historically speaking, wars haven't proven very positive.
Yeah, war is usually a problem for everyone except maybe weapon lobbyists.
Hmm. And the politicians of the winning side.
Kind of. But even then, any
Even
post war
then, most of the
economy,
time they get voted out soon after because they can't. Like, because you need so different characteristics as a president between.
yeah,
I guess the king is different, but like for winning a war, for like
yes.
healing a traumatized and destroyed economy and country and society, is like completely different persons and skills you need as a president. So,
Yeah.
Well,
do you guys have any idols?
Idols.
idols.
Oh, you mean like
Okay.
I see.
Oh, I don't
Well,
know.
AKB48 is great.
What?
Mm,
Repeat, Nicholas.
idol pop group.
Okay.
AKB48 is great.
AKB48. Okay. Never heard of
It's an a no, it's just that was a joke because they're an idol group and
Oh, okay.
the term pop idol has a certain meaning in Japanese and stupid joke. It's a joke.
So, do they have any
Is it?
though? Or not?
I
Hmm,
don't. I don't really. I guess. I mean, what? In what are you talking about? Like,
I don't know. You
for
define. You define.
I don't
It's
know.
a
Like
podcast.
there are
Talk.
idols. Yes, yes. I have like I play the guitar, so I have guys who I look up to,
Okay.
who sort of like yeah. There are guys like I don't know. I like a guy called Tommy Emmanuel. I like I don't know. There's Django Reinhardt, and I know, and for I don't know computer science programming in general. There's Linus Torvalds, Brian Kernigan, I don't know, Dennis Ritchie, guys like them, I guess.
Not because he should know these names, I guess.
Exactly. So
I
I
don't.
know
what do you want
exactly
to
what people you're talking
you
about.
Okay. Well, you know what? You just gave like you just answered the question. Why are you so surprised that you answered the question, Mohit?
exactly
I'm not
exactly you
surprised.
That's what I wanted.
answered
Okay.
my question. You said I answered your question.
Mhm.
You just said who your idols are. You didn't tell me to explain, give biographies of each
Oh my
idol.
God! Saying computer
Please give
science
me.
and guitar is not giving a biography of each of them, Wahid. What do you think this
So
is? A fucking questionnaire?
maybe.
Talking about
Maybe.
questions.
Maybe. No, talking about idols. Nicholas, you don't have any?
Right now, don't really think so.
I'm here. Still no?
You're here. Yes, of course, you're my idol. And I'd love to get your autograph at some point.
But no, you're not
But
my
no.
idol.
No, fuck off.
No, I don't know. There are like some people where I have like characteristics I want, you know, like I like that guy's humor, like you know what I mean? Like
Thank
those
you.
are the kind of jokes which I find funny, those are the kind of jokes I wanna make or that kind of stuff or that kind of attitude in certain situations. But most of the time it's like more just in general, like I have like a list of things I want to be. Does that make sense?
Mm,
No.
yeah, don't. Yeah,
Yes.
I
I
think
have
it
like
does.
characteristics, like human characteristics, yeah?
Ideals.
Like being an
That's
asshole, being a sadist, enjoying torture. No, kidding. But like, I don't know.
he's not
I don't wanna
actually.
go through my list right now. It's nothing super personal. But like, or let's just go like some things. Like, I want to be generous. I want to be like kind of fit. You know what I mean? Like able to run, able to jump and stuff like that, but not be like a weightlifter. Um, and I don't know. Like, list goes on and on. Not gonna go into that, but like, yeah, I have more like goals in that kind of sense. But I'm like very, you know, I really know what I mean with those. It's not just like words I write down.
Mm.
I know what I mean by generous for me. I know what I mean by being whatever, yeah, for me. I know what fit means for me. It doesn't mean fit for an Olympic gymnast um and stuff like that.
Mm.
Well,
I think
that's
setting goals is very important and knowing what you want. And I learned that very, very late. Like I'm very bad at taking care of myself in a way. Um but setting goals and knowing what you want is really important.
That's
But
hashtag relatable.
whether you write it down or not, yes. Whatever that may be.
I'll agree with you on the goals part. It's an issue I have myself. Where do you want to go in life? I admire people who
See,
actually do know that.
because that's what is actually the issue I kind of had and still have. Where do I want to go in life? And first I was thinking in kind of like, I wasn't thinking in jobs, but I was thinking in job-based lifestyle. Like, how much income, how hard, like, cognitively of a job do I want, and how much time do I want to be working, how much time do I want to be free, you know what I mean? Something like that. And like, wasn't, and like, what interests me, like, obviously, in like, fields that somehow interest me. And like, wasn't finding an answer. Like, now I found out that computer science just fascinates me, and luckily it's also a nice field where you can find jobs and make money. So that kind of goes well with another. But I went away from that. I actually have no idea anymore what kind of a life I want to live. Like, do I want to live the life of a guy who works 100 hours a week or 35? But
Yeah.
I just have these ideas of what's going to be important to me. You know, like, I want to make sure I listen to good songs every day. It's not, no kidding, you know.
Mm.
And yeah, just general stuff.
I'm gonna learn to play the guitar and get a fucking van or something. Life goals.
okay. Good. Great. Great talk, guys.
When we're talking about the future, by the way, you know what I say
Future.
is very important.
What?
For people our age, and you guys are gonna laugh. Find, and I'm sure you're gonna laugh. Finding a hobby which will stay with you the next 50 years.
Well, I mean, it's not
Because the
wrong.
next 50 years, you're gonna be busy studying, working, finding a girl, probably doing some fun stuff with her, probably ending up with some small things afterwards which grow bigger, having a really filled out schedule, and suddenly you're 60 and your kids move out, or they move out at 50, depending like how active you are. And then you stop working at, I guess by our age it's gonna be 75 and not 60, but you get my point. And I think when I look around at me and I see my grandparents, like at that age, I wouldn't be able to pick up a hobby. I know myself. I'm like so lazy and shy and shit. I'm not gonna like if I'd be 75, I'm not gonna learn how to game. You know what I mean? Or get back in
Yes.
touch with gaming if I didn't do that for 50 years. If that's what I want to do, maybe it's tennis. Yeah, like I don't know. For example, my uncle, he's fascinated by like old trains. You know, like coal trains. And I find that awesome. Not because I find coal trains awesome. I find that fucking stupid. But I find it awesome that he's got a hobby that he went with, like, you know, like through the entire life. Even when he was raising his child, like 1 week in the month, he would go somewhere to look at and make pictures of coal trains and look at them and drive in them or whatever. No joke.
Yeah.
And now he's, you know, he's past that age and he's got a bit more free time. I mean, he's still working, but now he can go 2-3 times a month with his friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when he stops working, he can I don't know. Yeah. I mean, like he's got like a model thing in his garage and you know that kind of stuff. Like collects albums and whatever. It's nothing super expensive. I'm not gonna do model trains and I'm not gonna do trains. Yeah. Maybe my hobby is still gonna be RTS esports, just watching it, not playing it at that age. And maybe I'll end up, I don't know, being a fucking philosopher, or podcaster, or painter, or I'll die at 50 because I do too much coffee and work. I think that's the most likely thing to happen to me.
That you're gonna die at 50.
Or before. Like, obviously not exactly at 50.
That's pretty pessimistic. I hope
That's
you
pretty
live for
optimistic.
longer.
I know myself.
Very high hopes for yourself.
Oh yeah. Oh, but that doesn't mean I'm not gonna do shit in those 30 years.
Fucking, that's some life goals right there. Dying at
Do you
50.
see? The thing is, this is my point of view on life. And it's also an issue, but it's nothing I'm willing to change. So it's not gonna change. I think time is the only thing which is really gonna be limited in my life. Like, in a way, money will be. But if you really all you want is money, you can get all the money you want. And I don't know, if all you want is sex, you can get a lot of sex. If that's really all you want. And if all you want is happiness, like, okay, there might be limits to that too. But if
There
you know,
might
if I
be
would
limits.
just want to be the happiest guy, I don't want to be the happiest guy in my life, yeah? I want to change the world. I want to make other people happy. I actually do. I also want to be happy myself, but like I don't just want to be happy myself. I don't only want to be happy myself. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But where was I coming from? Fuck!
Completely lost his train of
No,
This
thought
is-
go
there.
back up with me. Go back
This
with
is
me.
the
Where was
this is the cue that we need to stop.
Where was I? Let me finish this. Help me finish this, guys.
No.
Come on.
Die at 50.
Even if
That's-
I'd remember, I would tell you.
You wanted to die at 50? You wanted to make other
Oh,
people
yeah.
happy?
No, yeah. So I see
And,
time as the only really limited resource in my life, and
fucking
so
rich
I
kid
hate
speaking.
wasting it, and so I hate sleeping, and so I hate doing a lot of healthy things, because I could be doing stuff in that time, like listening and learning and talking and doing and running and working and I don't know what. That I don't think that's very healthy.
Probably isn't. You should take care of yourself.
I know.
Talking about taking care of yourself, we've been talking for a whole lot, I think. I haven't
think
looked,
so too.
looked at the clock.
Yes, more than 2 hours. Which is
the
ridiculous.
second part is now 1 hour and 3 minutes. I don't know how long the first
Maybe.
part was. I think it was
Either
pretty
way.
successful. We did do some. We have to work on our dwelling away. We need to get more topics. I think we need to make sure we don't have one big topic. We have like multiple smaller ones. But
Probably. We have a couple of issues we probably have to work
Definitely.
on.
give
Get
us your
more
opinion. This is
structure to
really
this.
serious. This is not just a
Yes,
joke.
yes, yes.
Give us your opinion in the comments below, and even give it a thumbs down if you didn't like it, but still come back for the next one. Then I don't care. And if you liked it, thumbs up and share.
And please subscribe and
Yep.
stuff.
And especially if you don't like it, give comments. Okay.
Yes.
I
So
hope you guys
thank
like
you
it.
guys. Yeah, thanks to you guys very
Thank
very
you.
much
Bye bye,
for listening.
and see you next time.